This morning when I came, I was confronted by Mr. Williams, and as he mentioned, he was worried about my weight. I thought he would be worried about my hair. But that's how our teachers are. You know, they worry about us. And what I am today, basically I owe it to this school. Before coming here, back at my home in Chicago, I was sifting through some old material, and I came across my 8th grade report card. And when you get report card, of course you see your marks and everything, but what is more important to me was the back of the report card where Mr. or Mrs. Williams would write their comments. And at the back I saw 3 words written that, now this is not self-praise, but it said hardworking and conscientious worker. And I began to wonder that how could they see this in me? And eventually I realized that those qualities I have actually learned from both of them and all my teachers. Now you are very fortunate to stand in this big building, and Mount Carmel did not look like this when I was a student. Mr. and Mrs. Williams, they fought for every inch of land with the authorities, and it wasn't difficult, it was very difficult, but it would have not been possible without being conscientious, because the goal was to establish a quality institution. At the same time, they also worried about the education part of the children, you know, because it was, they basically treated the school like a small sapling. You know, they nurtured it every single day and made it what it is today. So basically, their hard work and conscientiousness is what has made this today. Of course, belief in God, but these 2 qualities are the ones that I have imbibed from both of them, and also my teachers. Some of them are still here. Mrs. Nilima Mishra, Sudhir Malik. Ma'am, I don't know, you're the only one perhaps who knows how many times I've cried in front of you. Anyway, so I still remember the time. Now I'll go over these things before I describe a little bit about what I do, because this is very important for you and for me also. I still remember the time when Mrs. Williams, after the days of hard work, she asked me to come to her home, and she would coach me, of course free of cost, teach me English, because she thought that was my weak point. I don't know if it is a weak point still, but it was then. And I still remember little Jonathan who played around and would bother us, but she would, you know, continue to teach me for an hour. And if I look back at that, it's just amazing that how much they wanted us to succeed. And none of my visit here would be complete without going over a few of my teachers who have really shaped me to what I am. I still remember we had Mrs. Pressler, who used to live in Noida, but would come here every single day at 6:30 to teach us, you know, English core, which was another subject, as a little bit extra. In the summer months, most of the teachers took extra classes, and again to push us to do the best, because those were the years not only we needed to succeed, but also the school as such. And Mrs. Sulekha Sharma, of course, she taught me biology, and I still remember how beautifully she drew all the petals and sepals and stamen and other things. And but one thing that stood out in her was that she was like a mother at school, and whom you could share everything. And I still remember Mr. Gore. Actually, I credit my love for science and physics to him. He was one of the very few teachers I've seen who could teach actually any subject, and he taught without any notes, anything. It was all in his mind. He was so thorough. In fact, he even made or assembled his own 2-wheeler in those days. So he was really an experimentalist, and I'm also an experimentalist, particle physics. All my motivation to go into physics actually comes from him. And then we also had some other wonderful teachers. Mrs. Jugajkar taught geography, and an amazing teacher, and Mr. Gupta, who was, who taught me maths, and he actually is the one who instilled that I should work very, very hard. So these are some of our role models whom we will always be grateful to. Because one day I stood there and heard the words of wisdom from Mr. Williams and other of my teachers, but you will never forget this time. You might forget the time you might do engineering or other things, but these are the formative years that you will never forget. So this is something that has made me into what I am today. And I remember almost every single day when we had classrooms there where students are standing, and this was a grass court, I think, and those were the days that we studied at Mount Carmel. And full of love that we always got. I always thought of Mr. Williams like a coconut who was hard from outside, but very soft from inside. And I can proudly say he has never ever pulled my ear, never. And I know people, and it's because of him that there is so much discipline in the school, which is very important. Without discipline, you all would look like a crowd. You're standing in line, so this actually makes you look like, an obedient student. So never forget the good and kind words of wisdom that he teaches day in and day out every single day. And this is what I also remember and have imbibed in my life. Now going back to the kind of work I do, basically I'm a particle physicist, and most of what I say may not make sense, but you can Google it. These days Google is your best teacher. Particle physics is basically a field of science where you try to unravel the mystery of the universe. How we were made, what we are made of, what are the fundamental particles, what are the fundamental forces. So this is the core subject that basically is the field where I do research. Now it's very important that science, or basic science, is, and among them physics, is the mother of all science. So I would really encourage all of you to pursue and develop love for science, because there's nothing more that can solve our problems of future. There's lack of clean water, there's lack of there's a lack of energy, there's global warming. All these problems, they can only be solved by science, and physics is among the very first of them. So you must inculcate in you a love for basic science. I know most of us love iPhone, right? You know all the apps you can download, but I have never ever seen a single child come to me and say that, how does it work? Right? We're all mesmerized by downloading Hollywood songs, this and that. So that's the spirit that you need to develop. I know your job is much harder than mine because you have so many distractions. We were of the time when we only had a movie on the weekend and Chittar on Wednesday. But so your job is actually much harder. So when you're surrounded by so much distractions, I think the only thing that can come to your help is the words of wisdom that Mr. Williams teaches you every day, where you really need to be humble and submit yourself to that Almighty. And combining science with God is very important. Most of us think that scientists don't believe in God, which is not true, because I think science without godliness cannot lead you anywhere. Science without God is just like mind without wisdom, brain without wisdom. So you need to understand that you need to combine basic science, love it, inculcate, and work very hard, and be conscientious, and at the same time believe in God, because that will really guide you a long way. Now, I'll describe a little bit about the God particles that we have heard in recent months. Now, a story goes here that why it's called God particle. It's first of all, it's very annoying and irritating, because there's no way we can all be in search of God, but we should not call this God particle. So what happened was that Leon Lederman, who was a Nobel laureate who found the big quark in 1988, he was writing a book, and he was so much frustrated with this ever elusive particle that he called it goddamn particle. And he wrote it in the book. And when it came to publishing the book, the editor said that the publisher said that there's no way he will publish it because this won't sell. So he, on his own, without telling, he changed goddamn to God particle. And the reason why it was called goddamn particle because it It has taken so much millions of dollars to find it, but it was still evading us. So he called it God damn, it was changed to God particle, and then this name got stuck. However, it gives a very arrogant connotation to the physicists that they found God particle, and that's wrong. Okay? So this is just a particle that gives mass to everything. So that I must clarify that. Anyway, so I will not take much of your time. I know you're all restless. I was like you there, just wanted to go back to my classroom. But I must say that when you are at Mount Carmel School, you're very fortunate. You're at the very right place. There are many good schools in this city, but there are very few. I don't even know any who combine this daily lecture or daily words of wisdom. I don't think there's any other school like this. So you're very fortunate. And I wish and pray success to my school and to you all. And keep in mind that whatever you will be because of this school. And you are rightly equipped for that. Thank you.